Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening again. I so greatly appreciate you spending your precious time with me these Monday evenings, right? So today is January 10th, 2022, right? We have successfully completed the first week, right? First week of an amazing new year, right? Wonderful time. Wonderful new year has begun. So many new opportunities for us to explore, which kind of leads us into tonight's talk, right? Talking about changes, right? And so sometimes we may expect these changes. Next week's talk will be, or 2 weeks from now, the next week's talk will be unexpected changes. But tonight we'll be talking about preparing for changes that we are preparing for, and it could be any number of things. It could be a job or so forth. But as we have a certain format that we follow, we'll start off with our guided meditation, right? And you guys can go ahead and close your eyes and relax and get into any comfortable position that suits you well. And I will be your guide, and you can just relax, close your eyes. And then as we think about and consider changes, right, that we may be preparing for, because all things change, right? Including, maybe any anxiety that you have. And it's possible that these changes are for the better. But remember the grace that impermanence offers. But let's begin by taking a moment to settle your body into a comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them open with a soft focus, looking downward a few feet in front of you, if you prefer, or looking at the ceiling. Go ahead and breathe in and breathe out. You're invited to allow that half smile rest on your face as well. Go ahead and allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften, and soften your belly as you continue settling in. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And then we'll meditate on accepting that impermanence, or those changes that we are getting ready to incorporate into our lives. And go ahead and breathe gently and slowly in and out through your nose, allowing your energy to settle by spending time just watching your breath, being mindful of it. Let yourself be fully present with each slow, full breath in, each slow, full breath out. And breathe in and breathe out. And now think back to some of the earliest months of your life when you were only a baby, and go back as far as you'd like to. Recall how different your body was then, how tiny you were, how fragile you were. Recall too how little you understood the world. There was a time when you could just barely recognize colors and shapes. A time when you could not feed yourself. A time when you couldn't stand or couldn't walk. A time when you didn't know how to read or write. And then as you grew and you began to make sense of the world and recall the things that you once believed that are no longer true. Perhaps you believed in fictional cartoon characters, or you held a particularly childlike worldview. But then it changed. There's very little of your body and your mind that's the same today as it was then. And yet, you are still you. Reflect back on the course of your life through later childhood and your early teenage years. Recall the physical changes you've gone through. Recall how much you've learned. And recall the changes of your worldview. So much has changed in your body. So much has changed in your mind. And yet, you are still you. And so return to breath awareness now. Notice the continual movement of the breath, this constant flow. This constant exchange. Between breathing in and breathing out. Notice what's changing right here and right now. And the breath is a good place to start. There's never one single moment in which the breath remains the same. And in fact, if the breath were not to flow, you'd be in trouble. The inhale breath doesn't arrive towards the end and lament the oncoming exhale. The exhale breath doesn't begin to empty and worry about the incoming breath coming in. We let the inhale go. We let the exhale finish. We trust that this cycle of change will continue, giving us that precious life that we enjoy. Contemplate the possibility that as change occurs in your breath, change is occurring right now in your body. Change is occurring right now in your mind. And possible that these incoming changes will give you life and give you peace and give you ease. Contemplate the possibility that your worldview will shift. It could shift slowly over time, and it could shift in an instant. Be open to this change. Aware that this change is full of potential. Remain watching the breath for as long as you'd like, and rest in the awareness that neither your body nor your mind are static, unchanging, or still. And let that be a very good thing. And with that, go ahead and bring your eyes gently opening slowly, and to go ahead and begin to reorientate yourself with your surroundings before you stand and move about. And as you take those few moments, we'll prepare for our talk tonight. We got a brief technical adjustment to make. So cool, we're back. And so some of those changes in our lives can certainly be expected or even planned for to some extent. And some examples for expected change, right? New car, right? Suppose you need to go out and get a new car, or you decide to. Maybe you want a second car, or to help ease the burden of just driving to one location. So that's an extra expense that you can prepare for. May not necessarily like it, right? May not be something that you necessarily want to do, but it's something that you can prepare for. Or a new job, right? Part of our growth process, right? We don't necessarily stay at the same career for 15 or 20 years these days. Most often we change jobs. And so a new job, you're on the job hunt, right? Sending out resumes or going on interviews until you find a position that's comfortable for you. And when you get accepted and you're welcomed aboard, it's an expected change that you could sit there with. Or maybe it's a new home, or moving to a new location. I guess you'd still need a new home, right? If you're moving to a new location. But that's an expected change that you can prepare for. Right? Boxing, forwarding your mail, stopping services, utilities, and so forth. Or something else could even be a relationship. New beginning a relationship or even potentially ending a relationship. That's a change that you can prepare for. Although that can be sometimes unexpected as well. But certainly beginning a relationship, you can typically prepare for. Maybe know the person for some time. Ending a relationship can be a little bit different, right? It may come as a blind side, but most often we're even aware of some subtle clues. So when we're having a prepared change, right? One thing that we find useful is preparing our minds, right? Sometimes we have high expectations about a new position, or maybe even a low expectation, or but we don't always know with those expectations what necessarily may be positive or even negative when those changes do occur. Right? Even though we may be expecting them, for example, if we are moving, right, maybe it's not so easy to downsize. Maybe the new place, maybe the storage isn't just quite right for all of those items that maybe you've brought with us, or maybe the new job, right? Maybe the new job looked good on paper, but after the first few weeks or a month or so, maybe you got into a routine and the newness kind of settles and wanes away. So what are our expectations? It's important to manage them appropriately when we are preparing for change. And by doing so, what we could consider is allowing for that openness. Right? A lot of times when there's something new, it's always exciting. It's always shiny. Right? But we have to allow for that openness that we will find those tarnishes. Maybe we find those scratches in whatever it is. Maybe your forwarded mail doesn't necessarily come in time. It's also important for us to allow ourselves to have empathy for ourselves and compassion for ourselves. Understanding that we may even be looking forward to a change, but it's still going to be a change, and that can still be hard. So it's accepting where we are right then, in that present moment, those changes. Not too far off into the future. And then by living, just that one moment at a time. Again, that's managing those expectations, not too far into the future, right? And not dwelling on the past, but just being in that present moment, enjoying that present moment. It's how we can prepare our minds. And it's also important to remember that situations do evolve. Again, if it's a new job, maybe the first month is, nice and smooth sailing, right? Because you're the new person, perhaps. And so maybe they give you, your bosses or supervisors, maybe they give you some extra leeway. But then you've been there for some time and maybe they expect you to know some of the terminology that they use, or a little bit more adept at the procedures that are required for you to follow at those locations at your new job. So situations do evolve, and not every day is going to be a good day. Maybe you have a difficult client, someone who's challenging, and they may present you with an opportunity to focus on your mindfulness at a slightly different perspective. So preparing for changes, it's can be taken in stride, taken one day at a time, moment by moment, second by second, managing our expectations appropriately, and having some understanding that sometimes that newness or the challenging, if it's a difficult situation, even that difficult situation will move. Yeah, that's impermanent just as well as that exciting times. Those negative times are just as impermanent, and they don't last forever as well. And so with considering those changes, again, do approach them with openness and um, empathy and compassion for yourself as well. It's important. Your attitude, your mindfulness, your mindset. Remember, right mind, mindfulness, right contemplation, right? The Noble Eightfold Path. That's where they kind of come in. They come into play. And so with that, just a reminder of some of our upcoming events. Our next Dharma talk will be on the 24th, and that will be dealing with unexpected change, because life happens, right? Life happens, and there will be those unexpected circumstances that we will face. And so we'll talk more about those. There may be some overlap, right, between preparing for change, those expected changes. I also invite you to join us for our weekly Sanghas, all right? Our healing Sanghas, or veteran Sanghas, rainbow and teen Sanghas. And so you're welcome to join one or more of them at any, whatever one you feel suits you best. You can meet in a group setting. We meet in a group setting, and we nurture each other, help each other heal. If you do find benefit, positivity in our talks, you are more than welcome to like and subscribe to our channel for our weekly uploads, at least, right? Some weeks have 2. And again, we are so grateful that you are spending some of your precious time with us during these talks. It's a wonderful way to learn the Dharma, and to learn and to experience and to cultivate positivity, awareness, compassion, and empathy, not only towards us, but towards others. And when we share those positive qualities, we help ourselves as well. That's how we grow. And that is how we can help ease the suffering of others. So we do ask that you like and subscribe as well, if you feel that you get benefit from this. And with that, my friends, I wish you all a night of peace and ease, and we will see you shortly. Namaste.